Welcome. This short video is designed to help you better understand the 52-week mindset challenge and how to get started with your version of the challenge. The first part of the video will walk you through the thought process behind the 52-week mindset challenge. It'll be tempting to skip all the theoretical stuff, but I promise you, a deeper understanding of why your brain thinks and acts the way it does will help you better understand the best way to approach the challenge that works for you. I'll be talking more about the brain and how it thinks and works throughout my 52-week journey, so make sure you follow me on social media to gain new insights and stay up to date on all things related to the 52-week mindset challenge. So if you're wondering who the heck I am and how I am remotely qualified to talk about what I'm talking about, here's a little bit of bio about my background and what I do. Or you can just click on that video in the lower right-hand corner and let me go ahead and share with you. So let's dive into mindset theory in relation to the 52-week mindset challenge. Dweck explains that mindset theory is the idea that our level of intelligence can be increased and advanced through our efforts. So what that means is if we take the next 52 weeks as an opportunity to focus on our efforts, on the things that we desire, then we'll have the ability to improve our intelligence and reshape our limiting beliefs towards what we can actually achieve when we truly try. So why is transformational learning theory so important to the 52-week mindset challenge? Well, it's because it's this idea that we take for granted our current frames of reference, so our mindsets, for example. And what we can do through transformational learning is by exposing ourselves to more information, to deeper conversations, to things that we may not have thought about or been exposed to before, then we can essentially transform our way of thinking that will essentially improve how we see the world, how we see ourselves, and what we're capable of. So the first thing to know about personal biases is that we all have them, and it's not necessarily a negative thing. It only becomes negative when we refuse to acknowledge that we have personal biases and do anything to change them. But let's put that aside. For the purposes of the 52-week mindset challenge, your goal is to identify what your personal biases are, when in your life you came to feel that way about your inability to achieve something, and start changing that way of thinking. I saved limiting beliefs for last because this one is the most important when it comes to the challenge. A limiting belief is a personal belief that you believe without any doubt. This is something that you believe about yourself. You either believe that you're smart or you're not smart, you're capable or you're not capable. This is where you're going to be challenged. This is where you have to identify what that limiting belief is, and you have to start thinking otherwise. If you don't think you're capable of something, you need to start telling yourself that you're capable of doing it and start taking every action step you can possibly take in order to show yourself that you are capable of doing something. All right, it's time to get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is make a list of 52 things that you currently want to achieve, but for whatever reason, something is holding you back from doing it. So it could be your dream body, it could be getting that job that you want, it could be making a move, anything that you want and you desire, but just something is holding you back from being able to achieve it. You don't have to come up with all 52 things at once. Maybe it's something that you carry a journal around or the notes app in your phone. And as those beliefs pop up, which they tend to do when we're feeling anxious or we're in a situation, you're going to record down what it is. So hopefully at some point you have 52 limiting beliefs. But you don't have to have 52 to get started. You can have just a handful of them, but make sure that you prioritize what they are, and I'll talk about that more in just a second. All right, now that you've written down your 52 limiting beliefs, or the ones that you currently have, it's time to start prioritizing them. You should have written them in a positive way. So anything that had that negative connotation has been taken out and you've written them down in a positive and confirming way. But now you want to look at them and determine which one do I need to start with first. For example, if you had a limiting belief that you couldn't get into your dream body shape, then you'd probably want to make that one of your first goals and not your 49th or your 50th goal, because you're going to want to give yourself the most time to work on that. So make sure if there's any goals or limiting beliefs that you know are going to be a long-term haul, put those first so that you have the full year to work on achieving that goal and changing that mindset. So you're probably going to want to use a calendar or some kind of planning app to help you with organizing your 52 mindsets. The idea is that week 1, you're going to be working on whatever that first mindset or limiting belief is. So if you look at my calendar example, you'll see that goal 1 is to achieve my dream body. So I'm going to start doing everything in my power to start working on that. During the second week, I'm still working on that first goal. So you can see that that goal is still in that second week, but I'm going to introduce my second goal. So maybe I want to be a big guest on some big name podcast. I'm probably not going to achieve that by the end of that week, but I am going to be working on that all year. So every week I am just adding on or introducing a new limiting belief. I am not getting rid of the previous limiting belief I was working on. So I'll be working on these things simultaneously. The only time I'll ever stop working on one of them is if I achieve it. So if I were to be a big guest on a big name podcast, then I could go ahead and I could stop working on that because I have now achieved that limiting belief and changed it and shown myself that I am capable. So you will be working on your limiting beliefs simultaneously throughout the year. And again, only stopping once you have achieved that specific goal. Don't forget to dig deep. Changing a mindset is not an easy thing to do, and there are going to be times where you get frustrated or you feel overwhelmed. Anytime that happens, give yourself grace. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. That's not the purpose of this. Purpose of this exercise is to show yourself that you are capable of things that you didn't think you were. If you just get frustrated or feel overwhelmed and throw in the towel, then you're not going through the process. You are going ahead and defeating yourself before you've given yourself the opportunity to show yourself what you're capable of. So any days that you're feeling overwhelmed, take a break, take a breath. It's okay. Not everything has to be accomplished all in one day. You have a full year to work on these goals. The biggest thing to remember is that you just need to keep pushing and making the efforts to work through these goals. But at any time or feelings or ideas are coming up as you're especially going through what is the root cause of these limitations, it might be a great idea to reflect on this with yourself or maybe with a licensed therapist so that you can really work through some of these things that are currently holding you back. No worries if you want a modified version that maybe isn't intense as 52 weeks, maybe has a little bit less. Maybe you're finding this video late in the year and you still want to get started. Check out this video for a way to modify the challenge and still accomplish the goals that you want to get done. If you have any questions or comments about the 52-week Mindset Challenge, make sure you're following along with me on TikTok or Instagram at the.neurodiverse.teacher. You can also click on the sign up button in the upper right hand corner, and that will bring you to my website where you can sign up to stay in the loop on all things related to the 52-week Mindset Challenge. Or if you're just looking for those Google documents that I shared earlier, you can click here on that click here button in purple. It'll bring you to a Google Drive. And if you do your own version of the 52-week challenge, make sure you use that hashtag 52-week mindset challenge so we can all follow along together as a community. Thanks for joining, and I can't wait to see all the changes you've made when we hit 2024.